one of the first things I'd like to talk about is the amazing exhibit that recently was here, Savage Beauty by Alexander McQueen, that was at the Metropolitan Museum. It was a tremendous success. In the last week, they actually had the museum open till midnight because there were so many people trying to attend the exhibit, which I can certainly understand because I fortunately went on the first day and it was crowded then, but the crowds just continued to escalate during the duration of the exhibit. His sad demise at such an early age was really tragic because I see Alexander McQueen as one of the last couturiers. I mean, he really was very inventive, very creative, but he definitely had a dark side to him. But nonetheless, he really was an original. Case in point, one of the details that I heard about him and his house is that, you know, when he did his runway shows, he always had the fantasy garments and, you know, the outrageous shoes and different things like that. However, when the buyers went to his showroom, he showed a more wearable selection of clothing, which would make sense for buyers to buy for the average, you know, consumer. To that point, I was very thrilled to see that his house designed the wedding dress for Kate Middleton. And I thought it was quite beautiful. It was very well done, very tasteful, nothing outrageous, but it was really beautifully done. So the exhibit, like I said, was a huge success, one of the biggest exhibits that the Met has had in a very long time. And I'm just thrilled that I had the opportunity to see it on the first day. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about one of my big pet peeves is customer service. I don't know if most of you are noticing today. I mean, as we've become more automated and everything is going to voicemail on phones and email, it becomes very, very difficult to obtain a live person on the phone to resolve a very, very simple issue in many cases. First, let me talk about good customer service. There are two places which I'm very pleased that I had the opportunity to work, which has exemplary customer services, the Container Store, and also a renowned institution, Tiffany's. And the experience, the shopping experience in those stores is special because of the outstanding customer service that people receive. You know, it is important when you go into a retail that your sales associates can tell you about the product in the store and, you know, tell you what it is and try to help you to find out what it is that you really are looking for. Or even if you are just browsing, or like you might have some projects that you might want to work on, and they may be able to give you the proper decisions and solutions for your product. In the case of Tiffany's is not just a store, it is an institution. It's been around for over 100 years. The Fifth Avenue building is quite magnificent, and there's some very interesting details that I've found out about it, having worked there. If you look at the Fifth Avenue window, from Fifth Avenue and 57th Street, they have a staircase that goes to the second floor. There's a second floor there, and I mean the ceilings are extremely high, which is something that was remarkable when the building was built. One unique factor about the building when you go inside that people don't realize, it has no columns. And most all of the buildings that were built during that time had columns, as support beams in the store. So that's a unique attribute of Tiffany's. But the window that I'm speaking about, this is a staircase that goes to between the third and the fourth floor, and they literally had to take the window out to put the staircase in the building. So they actually closed off traffic on Fifth Avenue, which is a magnificent piece of history to know about that. There's also the Atlas Clock that's outside that's been there for forever that a lot of people don't notice. I mean, because most New Yorkers, we are looking straight ahead. We don't always look up, but we should sometimes look up because there are some interesting things in this city, and especially upward because we have magnificent architecture here in the city. Getting back to the customer service, as I said, when you go into their store, they have a group of people which is called ambassadors, which is actually was the job that I did, which really helps customers find out what they might be interested in seeing or what you have available to see. One key note, because of the reputation Tiffany's has, everyone thinks that I can't afford anything in Tiffany's because it's so expensive. Yes, the jewelry is expensive. The diamonds, the platinum, the white gold, very, very expensive, but the quality is phenomenal. I mean, you don't have a comparison. But you have other people who compare to it, but the point is that they really are really exceptional jewels. So I think one of the key things that I did as an ambassador there was to make sure that people realized that there were many options in the store and that it wasn't just the one floor. I mean, people were stunned very often to find out there were five retail floors in Tiffany's that had an array of products there. I mean, they have everything from kitchenware to accessories, eyeglasses and scarves and, watch bands, all types of things. So a lot of people don't realize. But again, being able to provide good customer service is something that's very key. And when I initially opened this conversation, I was talking about how we have demise with our customer service because you can call on the phone and get seeking a simple answer, and it will take you sometimes almost an hour to get a simple answer answered. and it's very frustrating because you're waiting because they don't have enough, operators to answer your questions. And I mean, this is to me is a travesty for American public because all it does is frustrate you. I mean, you can't get anything done, and this goes from utilities to very often doctors' offices. Almost anywhere you call, I mean, you're put on hold. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more frustrating to know, especially if you're on your lunch hour and you're trying to get a simple answer, and you get people on the phone who really want to help you, but they can't help you because they don't have the information there. And so if you were able to get to the party that you needed, then you hopefully will be able to get a simple answer. But that's a big issue for the country in general. And I mean, I've even noticed a decline in even one of the biggest retailers. Well, I won't say that they're the biggest retailer, but they certainly are the most successful retailer, which is Apple Computer. When the Apple store opened here, now first when we moved back, we have a store at the 59th Street, 59th and Fifth Avenue, which is their flagship store, which is open 24 hours, and that's phenomenal because it's the only one in the entire world. And I can honestly say that was an event that I did not miss. I went and I waited 3 hours to go in there, and the reason why I did that because I knew that was a unique experience in New York, and that was one of the marvelous things about New York because you have these special events that take place here that don't happen in other places. But back to my point about the customer service, when you go into the store, and very often you're trying to seek, advice about, products that you may already have, and or about, technology or different things that you might be interested in acquiring. And I found that a lot of the associates now really do not have adequate knowledge about their early product, or really the functionality of a lot of the things, and as opposed to getting somebody who really is knowledgeable, they just kind of dawdle around, move around, and you're waiting until finally somebody does come over there who can answer your question. And very often it's answered instantaneously. I'll give you a fun example. They have a new operating system called Lion. I did my investigation. I looked online, and I wanted to find out about, the possibility of me getting Lion for my computer, which I have an iMac G5, and I did all the upgrades that were necessary so I could download the new operating system. Now, when I went to the website had about 4 different, links, and so obviously I wanted to make sure I had the right link so I can get the right software, because that's all obtainable online, and you don't actually have to buy a disc. One brilliant thing that Apple did this time, they made it very affordable to do this operating system. It's only $30, which I thought was just as amazing, that they're finally realizing you can't keep nickeling and diming consumers for every time you put out something new. So they're offering softwares at a much more marketable prices, if you will. So back to finding out about the software. So I go into the Apple Store. Actually, it was the Apple Store that was on 14th Street in the Meatpacking District. And I asked a very nice lady if she could give me some assistance about it. Now, it was clear to me after a couple of minutes into our conversation that she really didn't know much about the operating system, and not much about a lot of the things there. And instead of her not saying, let me get someone who can help you, she continued to try to look around and try to find answers, which really was, I don't want to be rude, it was a waste of my time, because I just needed a simple answer. Once we got a sales associate there who knew, he gave me the answer, what I need to do, in like 2 seconds. And I guess maybe what I'm saying is that I'm really like a no-nonsense person. If I go and I'm looking for something, I usually know exactly what I want, and I have the right questions to ask. And so I expect people, if you are in retail, or regardless of what type of environment that you're in, it could be a business office, a doctor's office, that if you say that you're the expert, that then I expect you to be able to answer, sensible and logical questions within a timely fashion. So, I mean, I have to say that we have a good ways to go with improving our customer service in society in general now. I mean, because we have become a society that wants quick fixes. We want everything immediately, and that's not really my stance. What I want is people to give me the accurate information that I'm looking for, so I can resolve my own solutions, on my own problems, if they give me the right information, the tools to do so based on their product or their particular service. Because that is my objective, to make sure I do things that are to my benefit, that I can help to do things, and help the situation. But what can I say? It becomes frustrating, I guess, also too, because I'm a lot more mature now, so my patience is a lot thinner. But it is something that really leaves a lot to be desired.